What's up, Bama Nation? It's your boy, Coach Smook, and tell them who it is.
Jackson Johnson, all right, here on the 25th edition of Alabama PrimeTime Live 25, all right here on Alabama at the Voice of College Football.
Let's
We've got
go.
a lot of news here and there, everywhere, all right here on Alabama at the Voice of College Football. Let me tell you something, folks. You're going to be in for a wild ride. How you doing today, good buddy?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm ready to get into it, man. But before we get into it tonight, here to discuss some hot Alabama topics after today's practice. We're going to start the show off a little different tonight. We have your footage from Ryan Grubb's interview, the actual footage finally released by the University of Alabama. We're going to react to that. Then we got some practice footage. You saw some of the B-roll on the intro of the show. Got a few more minutes of that. Going to react to that. And then we're going to just dive into some conversations tonight, man, and get some thoughts and some perspective on some of the news and headlines that we're getting from camp today. I have my sources working hard on the ground today, and we got some topics to discuss here on the Voice of College Football for this hour. So, yeah, y'all check in. And if you're checking in live on the Coach Smook Network, please drop a like over there, but hop right over here on the Alabama at the Voice of College Football. We're live. That's the main channel where you want to catch all this content. Go ahead and filter your way over. Come over and join the fun. And shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Thank y'all for tapping in, being early, tapping in. Jordan Wright, Roll Tide, man. Appreciate you all. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. And again, Darius for checking in over there on the Coach Smook Network. Y'all tap in, man. Let's get into it. Let's make it happen tonight. Share, like, subscribe. Make sure you turn on your notifications for both channels so that we can continue to grow this Voice of College Football family. But Jackson, before we tell them, before they really help us grow, what's a better way for them to help us grow, man?
Well, they can also become YouTube members, all right here on Alabama at the Voice of College Football, especially where we got the membership tiers, especially for $2.99 a month. You can become a Crimson Faithful member, where you'll have a loyalty badge next to your name in the comment and the live chat, custom emojis to use in the comments in the live chat, and you get member shout-outs. Especially if you're Jordan Wright, for example, where he's giving out the Roll Tide, roll.
Yes, sir.
And for $4.99 a month, you can become a Saban Disciple, where you'll have priority replies to comments and access to a monthly hangout from yours truly, Jackson Johnson, Coach Smook Hines, and Jeffrey at Only Talk Sports. And for $9.99 a month, you can become a Bear Bryant legend, where you can connect on social media with each of us and give out content requests of any kind. And neither rain nor sleet nor snow nor this miserable Alabama weather will put a stop to us from fulfilling your content requests, all right here on Alabama Voice College Football.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look, easy to join. Just like all the AAA family that joined the Coach Smook Network, make sure y'all check us out over here on the Voice of College Football as we continue to just kind of structure what this channel is presenting to you all. Just know we're coming with a big, powerful punch kicking off this 2025 season. And shout out to Samuel Wilkinson for tapping in over there on the Coach Smook Network. Pull up on the Alabama at the Voice of College Football. Help this chat continue to grow. Roll Tide, Zach. Roll Tide, Mary J. I see everybody in the chat. Much love to everybody showing up here on the Alabama at the Voice of College Football. So let's get into it tonight, Jackson. I mean, not much to really beat around the bush about. We know Alabama. We talked about it yesterday. You, myself, and Jeffrey kind of talked about the injury bugs, what the rotation was going to look like. Well, today was the first day back at practice after 2 days off. We had the great reports from this weekend scrimmage. A lot of positivity coming from that scrimmage report, minus the major injury issues. But I think we're in a good position. I think we're very good after getting some feedback before watching the interview today. I was kind of spot on as I was doing the report. You know, the interviews was being uploaded, and I was kind of spot on the mindset of how this staff is approaching this team and all the depth that they needed to have questions answered for. This is more of an opportunity. It makes it easier for them to evaluate a lot of these players at these positions, in these depth positions, and see how they can impact the game with some of these position groups experiencing some injuries. So we're going to dive into it. Let's lead off with Coach Grubb interview. What you think?
Oh, I'm curious to see how it turned out, but it's always a great sight to see Coach Grubb at the podium.
Oh yeah, always, always. Let's get to it.
I'm ready.
You got another starter you can name for us?
No, nope. Parker Brailsford. He's going to start.
Coach, with you being here with different kind of quarterback, would the offense look drastically different than say last year? Or are there any other factors?
I mean, that's kind of the obvious one, right? Is like we're not necessarily a Jalen Milroe offense right now. Just Jalen was a super talented runner, and that was probably a part of the game plan every week, and which was smart last year by the offensive staff. So
He would say
I think that's probably
smart.
the biggest difference.
Hey, so I kind of and we're gonna pause and just kind of respond throughout the video, but I kind of alluded to that, Jackson. I said, that was one of the questions I would like to be asked in a sense, like, what will be the major difference from the execution of this year's style of offense and play calling than last year with Jalen Milroe? And they really didn't ask that specifically, but he answered it by specifically saying this offense won't look the same style as it did when we had Jalen Milroe as the main guy. Shout out to Ballard Sports Media tapping in over here on the YouTube channel, and shout out to my guy Ayo Sully says roll tide today. Michael, welcome in, man. Roll Tide from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. Yeah, everybody in the chat, while we're getting warmed up and getting into the conversation, let us know where you're watching from. This community is starting to grow, and we're starting to expand. I want to see where everybody's watching from so we can give y'all a shout out. And maybe that'll encourage some of the Bama fans hiding out in your town or city, looking for a safe space. It'll encourage them to join the community and follow us here and with all the best Bama content. But the Jalen Milroe style offense, it still averaged 33 points a game, Jackson. Like,
We can do better than that.
but I'm saying, like, people look at how the season ended and they try to blame it on the quarterback position. I understand there was some shortcomings, but guys, it takes more than a quarterback being inconsistent to lose 3 games. And then it definitely takes requires a little extra effort around the quarterback when you're on the road. And let's be honest, man, Oklahoma game, wide receivers had big drops early in the game. Vanderbilt game, the defense missed a lot of tackles in the first half. A lot of drop passes in the second half against Vanderbilt, and a few bad calls here and there. Then Tennessee, I think just overall, man, the team just wasn't locked in. So a lot of team things, but yeah, let's talk about the offense. Brian Grubb specifically said we won't see as much of a Jalen Milroe style offense. What does that mean to you from a fan standpoint, Jackson?
It means we're not going to be seeing a lot of over-reliance on Ryan Williams. I don't think we're going to see a bunch of running around, running for dear life. That's what we're not going to see.
100%, man. And then also that in that, that means the offensive line has to be better. So let's get back to the interview and see what Coach Grubb had to say. This is a nice little lengthy interview, so we're going to have a good time to react to it. And y'all give us y'all thoughts in the comments as we break things down. Kind of listen to what's being said. There may be one or two. I guarantee you, I haven't been able to listen through the whole thing, but I guarantee you there's maybe one or two. And I ain't gonna do that on this.
I think it's, we got to see a lot here in the next week or so to see who can handle the game plan, who's the most responsible with all their duties.
Talking about the running back position.
Running back group? It's a broad question. Seen a lot. Daniel Hill has done a good job providing a lot of protection, and I think he's gotten a lot better at that as far as with his eyes. He's a super physical guy. I think Daniel has started to run like the back we saw in the spring. Early in camp, I thought he was a little bit slow to come to that. Dre has great vision running the football. He improves every day still. I think some of the pass protection responsibilities are things that probably were not in his wheelhouse prior to getting here. Kevin Riley has started to show up a little bit. He's a guy that has really nice vision. Not as big a back as the other guys, but runs very physical and is really good out of the backfield.
What have you seen from Richard?
Tight end room. A lot of guys, Danny and Josh are doing a great job as the older guys, getting a lot of reps. Caleb has shown up. shown to be more physical. That was one of the things I think was going to be the biggest challenge for him initially, making the big jump from high school ball to this. Jay Lindsey is super dependable as a guy that's shown up to be able to be a guy with his hand on the ground, can be a move player for you, and certainly has provided a lot of depth for us.
What have you seen from Richard? How has he progressed?
Richard Newton?
Richard Young.
Oh, Rich Young?
Yeah.
I thought you said Richard Newton. I was like, wow, that was our running back in Washington.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That's wasn't that one of their guys in Washington and Newton?
So Rich Young, real similar running backs, by the way. Rich has been super physical and has been a guy the last 2 scrimmages, I thought, when we need a little bit of a spark to pop a run right up the middle and finish it. He's done a great job. He's worked really, really hard at becoming a better player out of the backfield, has gotten better at that. Very responsible. He cares a lot. He's tough, physical, and we love him.
Hey, yeah, AAA family, you all know why I'm cheesing so hard over here, because this is literally my first time watching the interview. Okay. But you all know what we were doing when this interview was happening, or when this was supposed to be being posted. We were actually live, and to be echoing some of the same things. Shout out to the Voice of College Football Alabama Network, like the team that helps us with getting our resources and supplying us with our own information. Shout out to the people that really believe and support our organization. Because a lot of takes that I had earlier, man, you would think that I was at the interview with Ryan Grubb. You would have thought I was his PR. The way that he's answering the questions and some of the ideas or the way of thinking behind handling this team and the vision of what it should look like offensively. Like I really feel like I'm connected. But with that being said, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We got Blue Ridge, Georgia checking in, Mary J checking in. We got Jordan Wright checking in from the $1 Million Band himself, man, checking in from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Then who else we got, man? Zach checking in from T-Town, home of the University of Alabama Crimson Tide. Who else, man? We got Sam Wilkinson checking in from the Caribbean, St. George, Grenada. Authenticity above all. Appreciate that, Sam. Much love, family. Tapping in, man. Hey, make sure y'all come and subscribe over at the Alabama at the Voice of College Football. So, hearing about the running back rotation, some of the guys' names that he mentioned, he did not initially mention Richard Young, right? He did not initially mention Richard Young, and to some people, that to me, no, I'm not going to say to me. To some people, they look like, okay, Richard Young must not be the guy in the room right now. What's your thoughts on him mentioning, kind of like highlighting all the backs but Richard Young?
Yeah, that kind of makes me think. I wonder what's going on with Richard Young. I bet it means we're going to see more of Daniel Hill on the field.
I'm exact opposite. I think Richard Young and Jam Miller were part of the primary plan. So having Jam Miller go down doesn't take your focus or shift your primary focus. I think you more so have to find out who your backup guy is going to be. And that's why he mentioned Dre Washington. That's why he mentioned Daniel Hill. That's why he mentioned Kevin Riley. Those guys are going to be RB2 while Jam Miller is out. Now, and that's just my opinion. That's my thought process, because if you look at how this system was ran last year, if Richard Young doesn't go down last year, Justice Haynes and Jam Miller, you never knew who the lead back was. You had running back RB1A, RB1B, and then you had a spell back. Those guys had an equal amount of carries. Even with Jalen Miro in this offense, I think you saw the play disparity, meaning the splits percentage-wise. Jam Miller and Justice Haynes basically split. So I think Richard Young was stepping into the Justice Haynes role, while Daniel Hill was stepping into the Richard Young role from last season. And if you see, if you understand that, or if you're following me there, that's why Richard Young probably wasn't initially mentioned in the interview. That's my thoughts on it. Most people will want to jump ship and be like, Richard ain't the guy. Nah, he's the guy. He's the primary guy. So now you have to evaluate what's behind him because of how they want to have this balanced offensive rushing attack. So that's my thoughts on it, man. Facts, Coach. The haters can't say you aren't connected anymore. What do you mean? What did I do? What happened? What we do? Oh, I don't know. Somebody must have said something on Twitter or something. I don't know. We don't care. But that's good to hear from the running back room, knowing that there's confidence in that room. Dre Washington coming in, starting to, his skill sets are starting to show their value in this system, in this scheme. Definitely want to see him get better on a pass pro. But Daniel Hill, man, I think he's going to be the primary guy to back up Richard Young right there. What you said yesterday, you were very high on Daniel Hill, kind of like being, or I don't think it was yesterday, whatever show we had when you was talking about Daniel Hill being the guy to kind of emerge from that running back room.
What were your impressions of Ty in the second scrimmage?
Ty, I think, was 12 of 15 or with 2 drops. I thought he was very controlled, distributed the ball right where it was supposed to be. I thought his eyes were in the right spot. Like, I thought he was very disciplined. We were trying to put him in some spots in the fringe and things like that to see how he'd respond and make sure he takes care of the football, keep us in field goal range, all those things. And I thought he responded really, really well. Had calm demeanor when it was good and bad. There was a couple flows there. We started out really fast again and did a nice job, and we hit a little bit of a lull. I thought he was there to respond.
The 2 other quarterbacks as well in the scrimmage.
Austin started really, really clean, had a really nice touchdown drive to start. Keelan was doing the same, marched down the field. We had a couple hiccups up front there that put the ball backwards a little bit, but I thought initially in the scrimmage, all 3 of the guys played really, really clean, accurate throws, pushing the ball down the field when they could, and were smart with their checkdowns.
We heard the noise today when we were out there. How do you think the team did deal with that?
This is huge right here.
Just like any time. I mean, this was the first time we worked it hard, so a lot to improve on there, of course. I think anytime you start really getting that in where you're running plays and using motions and all those things, like there's some bumps on it. I thought they did better as they got more used to it in practice, and we'll continue to work it. That's something that obviously we'll have to be ready for.
That's huge. I want to get some thoughts on that in the chat, in the comments. But also, Jackson, give me your thoughts, man. Getting the crowd noise active. We know. I think Tallahassee is going to be rocking, man. Florida State, Doak County Stadium. Talk about it, Jackson.
They're rocking them. Oh, they're rocking and rolling. Like, they're going to bring out that tomahawk chop.
Yeah.
When we come to town. So they're going to be excited, but I don't think the excitement's going to last very long when Bama comes in.
And that's what I want people to understand. Like, we have to understand this is a new era of college football. That Florida State, that 2-10 team is not who we're playing. And I understand they're having issues with players and their mentalities and all these behavior issues and having to kick players off the team and all this other stuff. But I think usually when stuff like that happens for the underdog, that's when you see them really come out and play relentless. And those are the teams you need to be scared of. And I'm not saying Alabama needs to be scared of Florida State. I'm just saying we need to show up more than prepared. You can't just show up with your A game. Show up with your A+ game. Week 1, got to fire off, got to start off with the big plays, all of the stuff that you think you would want to assert yourself or to cement yourself as one of the dominant teams amongst the top 3 and top 5 in college football. You have to do it week 1 against Florida State at their house in Tallahassee, opening weekend to kick off your season. I think that's the way to go. And if you have that mentality, if that's the way you want to start, we're going to be able to, like you said, they won't be as hyped, but we're going to need to take that crowd out of it because you got a lot of, different, I guess you could say, style of language being thrown around on both sides of the ball, with Chuck Morrell being on the field, play calling in the booth, while Coach Womack is on the field, play calling for the defense. Then also you got I think we'll see Grubb up in the booth for the offense, and you got his assistants on the field, DeMarcus Shepard, Nick Sheridan probably on the field. So that's another question we'll be trying to get answered before kickoff, because that's important too. The placement of the coaches, how you want your coordinators. Kane Womack is an on the field guy. Chuck Morrell is always been more so a booth guy. Was in the booth as a coordinator for Womack at Washington. So going to be interesting to see all these storylines play out throughout the rest of fall camp. But that was an interesting thought. With the crowd noise, Florida State being in that stadium, how's everything going to pan out? Shout out to everybody pulling up in the chat, man. Let me see who this is, brother. We got some more comments. We got it says Sandy Springs checking in. Sully checking in from Sandy Springs, Jordan. That's at Atlanta. Dino says Mark Norville got this year and next year before they run him out. Ooh, Ooh, strong words. Them fighting words.
Oh, they're
Smook,
paying.
what's
They're paying
happening?
too much money.
Oh
Let's
man,
stop trying to fight. Yeah, he's from. You see him quite a lot on each of the Voice College football channels. And shout out to John D'Animo from Wolverines Live.
yes sir. What's good,
Amazing
John?
commitment watch party by Michigan, Tennessee, and Ohio State. The Voice College football as TJ Tucker Harlan and Garrison Gaddy hosted the Savion Hyder commitment watch party. That was a wild ride right there. I know
Yeah,
Michigan's happy. Hey, we're happy Tennessee's not getting them. So that's
yeah.
okay.
Not only that, but I think we saw that one early in his recruitment. A lot of people were kind of skeptical about it. I'm like, nah, he's definitely a Michigan fit. So congratulations to Michigan, man, and shout out to you, brother, for tapping in with us tonight as we break down this Alabama Crimson Tide, man. Ryan Krubb was up for interviews today, media availability. So kind of just reacting to it, man, and giving our thoughts and our insight based off the reports. And it's funny because, like I said, man, a lot of things that we talked about on the post-practice report before seeing this interview and some of the footage, man, they were definitely we were spot on. So
Cam and Gino doing at guard, and how comfortable would you be rolling out there with
Guard
that
position.
if Jaden's not back?
Very comfortable. Those are two veteran players, very versatile too. They can both play left or right, so they're interchangeable. But Cam brings a lot of physical presence to him. Gino is a savvy player that knows how to connect with the center.
What will your offense miss without Jam Miller, and what have the conversations been like with him? How's he kind of holding up after the
Jam is he's such a stud. I mean, he is he'll be a value to our team no matter what right now, just because of his demeanor and leadership. So I think that's one of the things you miss on the field right away is just him being out there. There's a presence to him when he's on the field, so we'll certainly miss that. His explosiveness, his running style, all those things will be missed. But he's been great. I think he's in high spirits. He knows this is a temporary setback, and he'll be ready to go.
So we actually were able to get a message to Jam from the family. So be looking out for that response. I'm gonna post it. We got permission to post it when we get the response. So be looking out for that, y'all.
During open availability, Josh mentioned that you're going to be using them in unique ways. What does that look like from an offensive standpoint?
Oh man, a lot of things I can't talk about.
Tight end usage.
I don't know. I've just always felt like the tight ends were the equalizer. They're the guy that can change the box count. They can manipulate what the defense thinks as far as how many people they have to have relevant to the run fit. So I think that the guys realizing that they're always part of that and how they can manipulate that for us is truly unique.
How close are Josh and Danny to being 100%?
I mean, they're out there, they're practicing, so to me, they're 100%. They don't have yellow jerseys on, they're rolling. I think, they're both repping quite a bit, honestly. Like, at one point, they're only at like 20 reps. They've went way past that to where, I don't feel like there's any limitations.
Tight end rotation, something that's going to be important to this year's offense success. I keep telling people this offense is most elite and is most lethal when the tight end usage is used in high usage. They're talking about 27 to 31% of your passes going to the tight end position when you're talking about volume. So the tight end usage, the depth of talent at the tight end position, I believe this staff is excited to utilize, especially with guys like Josh Cuevas and Danny Lewis kind of, working limited in practice, having the depth to work guys like Marshall Pritchett, Brody Dawson, the transfer from Troy, Jackson Marco, Jay Lindsey, getting those guys in both the Y and the H position solidified and seeing how they can impact the game or how they can contribute is huge. You're going to hear how much how important that position is. And I think this will be the year where we see at least 4 to 5 guys utilized in that YH rotation because of all the different skill sets. What's your thoughts on the tight end room there, Jackson?
I can't wait to see Brody Dalton. I'm excited to see him. Ever since he came from Troy, I've been so excited to see him on the field. I'm already just counting down to the days where we see Brody Dalton just become the X factor for that Crimson Tide offense.
It's funny that you say that, Jackson, because I've been very high on the young man since he's came in from Troy. I've looked at his film from when he played at Troy. That Troy passing attack is something serious year in and year out. I've never seen a group of 4 team just, the way they turn over talent, I think the last wide receiver that they seen transfer out of there was Barber, ended up at Ole Miss, I believe, or was that Oregon? I can't remember what school he ended up leaving and going to, but they produce a quality.
But neither
style of-
one of them get an Natty, so that's what matters right there.
What's that?
Ole Miss, Oregon don't get natties. Bama.
Hey,
does.
it's fine, man. Sometimes it ain't about the night; it's about doing what's best for your career.
Oh,
You
I
know,
know it, man.
Hey,
I
listen,
just
man.
like to take at 'em.
Listen, I don't want to talk natties until we get back to one. We don't want to turn into Georgia fans living off of the past. We want to be current when we talk about our dominance, and that's why I love to pick at Georgia fans, because until you all beat us, you can't talk about being the kings of college football. You can't beat Bama. You have to beat Bama to become the kings of college football. You get what I'm saying? Michigan did it, so they can talk a little bit. Or I mean, not Oregon, but Ohio State did it before. They can talk about it. Georgia, yours is in the past. We done one up you since then. So, and then also on some updates with the injuries, Danny Lewis and Josh Cuevas have always, like, they're going to be injuries where players may have to sit out one practice because of swelling or something like that. But you got to understand, man, players, like, you're never fully 100%. There's very rare when you start your collegiate career. You're very rarely going to, if you played a lot of minutes as a varsity player through high school, you're playing through injuries just about your whole career. It's your level of tolerance, the recovery you do around it. And this strength and conditioning program at Alabama has done a very good job in, guys sustaining themselves during working back from injuries. So the recovery staff here at Alabama, I think, is top tier. I think there'll be a specific plan in place, going into kickoff week for all of these players that are expected to play heavy minutes. But, I really do think this staff, they have a certain level of trust in the depth on each side of the ball. And I mean, like 2 or 3 deep at just about every position, where you got 3 or 4 personnel that you feel like you can rotate and get the look that you want at just about every position. Maybe not so much at the offensive line. You probably just 2 deep or 1.5 deep, maybe 8 offensive linemen deep right now, and confident in that position. But everywhere else, I think you got 3 or 4 people at each spot that can give you a quality impact and put out quality numbers if you was to put them in and insert them into the game plan. So good position to be in, Alabama. Good position to be in. You got anything else, Jackson? All right.
About it from me for right now.
Let's get it.
Cole is a really savvy route runner. He knows how to get in and out of breaks, understands how to play off the leverage of defenders, read coverages, and in the last week and a half probably has made more contested catches than anybody on the team. And that's one of the things I don't think you would necessarily think from a guy that's a little bit smaller in stature, but he's very competitive when the football's in the air.
There's going to be a lot of eyes on
And so I believe,
We're not,
hold on.
I thought they did better as great. I think he's in high spirits. He knows this is a
100%.
I think that was a question asked because we reported, and this is something that I saw. Cole had a rough scrimmage, number 2. It had a lot of targets, but there were a few drops. I want to say it was two or three drops. One was strongly contested. The secondary played very good in the second scrimmage. You didn't see many big plays, but 2 of them were drops. Kind of just not getting his head around or getting his head around. And I think one was kind of behind as far as timing wise, but definitely hit his hands on all 3 of them. And like you said, a lot of his catches are contested catches. I think he still ended up with 4 or 5 receptions. Probably was the second or number 1 most targeted receiver in the scrimmage this past weekend. So going to see his workload continue to increase as you're able to spell guys like Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams in this offensive style. That way you're using them for explosive style plays, and the play calling matches up, man.
week and a half probably has made more contested catches than anybody on the team. And that's one of the things I don't think you would necessarily think from a guy that's a little bit smaller in stature, but he's very competitive when the football's in the air.
There's going to be a lot of eyes on, obviously, Ryan Williams heading into year 2.
Yeah.
What's kind of been your message to him over the course of this fall?
Y'all know that voice.
For that stage that he's about to sign?
Well, Ryan kind of does that himself. for his age, he is a very, very just
That dude.
mellow guy. Like, he can take it all in, and the moment's never too big. It's also probably what makes him a really good player when the big games hit, is that he won't melt in those situations. So I think that part is a little bit built in just because of who he is. But for him, he's still working on route running, inside, outside, wherever we put him, and just getting to be a better receiver.
For this offense to succeed, what do you need from the running game?
Yeah, I think, for us, it's really putting the stress on the offensive line and the tight ends, being physical up front and creating presence. I think when they do that, if we can establish the line of scrimmage, we certainly have the skill players on the outside. I think that the running game will be key to how far this season can go for us.
Besides Cam and Gino, has anybody impressed you stepping up at guard?
Michael Carroll played a little bit. Olas has
This is
done a nice
huge.
job. So we got good depth there. Those two guys are probably the first two that stand out.
That's huge. Michael Carroll. I've been talking about Michael Carroll since his recruitment. This young man, tackle. You ask him to play tackle, he's ready. You ask him to play guard, he's ready. Like, he is the most athletic offensive lineman in the room as a true freshman right now. We were excited when we got J.C. Latham as an offensive lineman. When he signed, we were excited when we got Tyler Booker. I think Michael Carroll is the next one of that group. You're talking about offensive linemen coming to Alabama and making their name as freshmen. I think Michael Carroll might find his way if Jaden Roberts doesn't stay healthy. If you have issues at tackle where you maybe Formby or Proctor aren't working out, you're going to see Michael Carroll within that first 6-7 man rotation of offensive linemen. He's really pushing. And then right behind him, Jackson Lloyd, the other true freshman. Both of those guys are really day one ready guys. But you heard him talk about Olis Allen. He's just been, for the last 2 seasons, been right there on the edge, tilting right into that rotation. I think more so his overall body development was a huge thing. What's your thoughts on hearing about some of those offensive linemen stepping up with Jaden Roberts being out?
Makes me feel pretty good that we're going to be okay. Well, we're going to be more than okay. But it's always good to make sure that you've got a healthy O-line, good, bad, or ugly. Because when the going gets tough, you're always going to need the toughest O-line that there is.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. And people have learned that, especially just think about the Michigan game, man. If you think about when we played Michigan, their interior, their trenches was a lot tougher than ours during that game in the playoffs, and that's not usual to be seen at Alabama. So getting back to that mentality is going to be huge for us. We had some footage. I was going to show some footage from the scrimmage, but I think we'll show it a little bit later. It was awesome to see Michael Carroll. I was trying to say Jackson. It was good to see Michael Carroll be mentioned because you all know that's like a personal one for me to see
Got
him.
me thinking Michael Carroll singing, I'm bad.
Hey, my man, he is bad, man. My boy is bad, and it was crazy. The size that he's put on since showing up to campus in the spring, to see where he is now, it looks like a grown man out there amongst the veteran offensive linemen. So good to see some positive things with the offensive linemen and the depth there. Coach grew up saying he's confident in the group that he has set as the starting 5. And with Jaden Roberts needing that time to get 100%, by all means, take your time. If we got a offensive line group that's producing, I love it. I love it because that means once we get them back, we're in that much better shape.
You talked about the difference in offense and being Jalen Milroe offense. Is
Yep.
part of that less quarterback design runs? I know Ty can move.
Yeah.
But do you look to do that less with him, or?
To a point, Ty is certainly capable of doing those things. I've just, probably philosophically, Mike Penix was a good runner. People wouldn't know that, but we didn't really run him till the playoffs or late just because it's a long season. And, you're better off with your starter being able to throw the football in this offense than run it. We'll certainly look for those opportunities because I think Ty is a good runner, and we'll make sure we have, things for him. But taking care of him, making sure that he's upright is important. He's getting stronger. He's getting there. I think that there was a little bit, of catch up early in camp because he wasn't in spring ball. So we're working on the sustainability of him staying on the field, just being in great shape. Bach, catching. It's the first thing that comes to mind is honestly like early in camp.
Yeah.
He had some drops, and I think he's just getting more comfortable, honestly, playing the position and catching the football. He's doing a lot better job. There was probably first 3 practices, probably had 3 drops or so, and since then it just really hasn't come back up. So he's doing a good job. You bet. Thank you.
Great interview by Coach Grubb, man. Definitely want better questions, man. We always have our complaints over there on our network, but I think today was pretty solid. Looking at all of the reports, man, just Caden Proctor got up and spoke about the continuity of the offensive line, how guys are just up and ready to be next man up mentality. I think that's going to be huge for us this season, Jackson. I really do, man. Seeing a lot of depth get the opportunity, kind of like how we started last season, but it's not a surprise this year. I don't know if you all remember week 1 against Western Kentucky. Caden Proctor's warming up, and we have a offensive line mix up now, and we scrambling the first game with the offensive line, and we're not as confident. We're not as comfortable. I think the system has allowed players to become a lot more familiar, and now you see the confidence up and down the sideline. Up and down the depth chart, and now you're able to adjust and move and still flow fluidly. So quality stuff here. All right. Looking at the practice film, man, let's react. Look at Jeremy Bernard, man, wide receivers going through some warm-up drills. Cole Adams, number 7. What do you think about this wide receiver group, man? I know we talk a lot about.
I'm happy.
Yeah, go ahead,
so
Jackson.
Happy about our wide receiver group. I'm so glad it's not all on Ryan Williams. I have been looking forward to this wide receiver group all off season, all preseason. I cannot wait to see the magic it's going to bring on the field this season.
100%.
The passing game, the receiving core should be top 5 in the nation.
100%, man. I'm sitting here looking at the wide receivers, man. A lot of people don't realize the type of skill sets that we have available with this group, man. One being because I just, when you look at skill sets like Isaiah Horton, right? 6'4", 4.4 speed, 36, 37 inch vert, aggressive on the ball in the air. And strong hands. I think he has 11-3 hands. So big hands as far as his the span in his hands. Then you match up with him, and then you saw the natural talent and the explosive playmaking ability by Ryan Williams, who to some would be undersized, but you look at the new style and anatomical makeup of the wide receiver position. He's like the perfect mold. He's the perfect build, and he's not even fully filled out his frame yet. At 6 foot. So, and you look at his explosive playmaking ability, but then you got Jeremy Bernard, who's just a savvy receiver, probably one of your better route runners. Knows how to create separation, very deceptive with his speed. And that's just your first 3. But then you got Rico Scott, who's another explosive high catch radius player. Then behind him, you got Jalen Hill, who can go up and get it. Coming back from an injury, and we saw him make a lot of strong catches over the past 2 scrimmages. So look for Jalen Hill to continue to be an impact in his rotation. Then you got Cole Adams. You heard him speak about Cole Adams being a savvy route runner, being able to get in and out of his breaks, make competitive catches. That's the thing you want to hear about your first 6 receivers. And we still haven't talked about Jaden Mbakwe, who's a super speed guy, or Latier Brooks, who can take the top off your defense or get them in jet sweep action and go crazy. And we still have yet to mention Bubba Hampton or Derek Meadows. So this wide receiver core, top to bottom, is probably the most talented in the country, top to bottom.
Oh, here we go. Boom.
Look, getting a look at the running backs chat. Listen. This is the group when I'm not worried about this group. As you saw, number 4, Daniel Hill go. This is Kevin Riley. Look at how much weight Kevin Riley has put on. And this is what I wanted y'all to see with him. Just look how he takes this jab step, this counter step, and then steps up through there. You got Richard Young, you got Daniel Hill, first, second. Then you got Dre Washington, number 20, right here, going 3rd in the pecking order. Listen to me when I'm telling you stuff that I know what I'm talking about, chat. Then Kevin Riley, check him out. Boom. Look how he sticks his foot in the ground. That's how he runs all the time. AK Deer, check him out. He's bigger than, I'm telling you all, these young men, these freshmen, they came in, they weren't playing about the weight room. They were not playing. They were not playing about the weight room, their meal plans, none of that. They were not playing. AK Deer looked like he's a good solid 215, 220 chat. running
There
back
we
room.
go.
Very confident in this running back room. Again, back to the wide receivers. As you all know, man, this is going to be a group that will get an opportunity to make a lot of plays in this offense. The vertical passing threat is going to be on full display with this year's offense. Checking out the quarterbacks, Ty Simpson to the right, Keelan Russell in the middle, Austin Mack was to the left right there. Look at the ball by Ty Simpson. His confidence is just oozing throughout the I guess you could say the blood work of this team, the DNA of this team. You can see everybody kind of walking around with a sense of sense of knowing what's going on in practice because of Ty Simpson's leadership and his consistency, stepping up every day, continuing to be the leader. I know Jackson. I know everybody's happy about Ty Simpson being QB1. I think I'm more so happy about how everything is shaping up around QB1, meaning QB2. Both quarterbacks, Austin Mack and Keelan Russell, having strong scrimmages, strong shows in the scrimmage. But Keelan Russell looking to be the guy that's going to get the opportunity to be QB2. What's your thoughts on this QB2 battle kind of shaping itself up and coming to a head here?
Oh man, I honestly know for a fact it's gonna be Keelan being number 2, but I don't want to see Austin Matt leaving Bama. I want to see him stay on as long as possible. I do kind of worry about that if he's not number 2.
Yeah. And I think people are going to understand what this team is because of this mentality in the quarterback room. There's a quiet competition going on there because it's not a competition to prove that you're better than the guy. I just want to be the best version of me I can be for when this team ever needs me. That could be me holding kicks, being the snapper, me and the second string quarterback that has a certain set outline for me. Whatever that requires, I have to be ready to do it. And the way that I do that is by coming and practicing and preparing as if I'm QB1 every day, every time I step on the field. So the competitive nature of this team on the offensive side looks good. Tonight, man, we're reacting to the offensive presence and the things since last week. We dedicated so much time to defense. You all had a lot of questions about the offense. And one of the questions that I want to get to, we can't bring it up, but what was the update on Jaden Mbakwe? Well, it was ironic that was one of the questions that was asked in the last week's stream, and I can't remember who asked it, but it was definitely I forgot that they don't start the comments from each show; they don't keep them. So, but as you heard, Coach Ryan Grubb talking about Jaden Mbakwe getting used to playing the position. The fact that he's starting to show those type of strides right before kickoff week, I think that's huge because I think Bach will find his way into this rotation when we get to teams that are going to play real up close personal man, and you need somebody to stretch the field. You're going to need Bach's natural speed and ability to do elusive things with the ball in his hands. What's your thoughts on the reports of Bach really trying to turn the curve here right before kickoff?
Well, I've got a good feeling about the curves. Like, we'll be all right. I think everything should be really good for 2025. Way better than it was last year.
I'm telling you right now, Jackson, if this team somehow doesn't, win 11 games in the regular season and find themselves in the national championship game, I'd be super surprised. But if this team somehow went 12-0 undefeated to the national championship, I would not be surprised. I think we have everything you would want. If you look at what Ohio State had to win the national championship last year, I think we have that plus some at Alabama right now. And then you look at what Michigan had to win the year before that. I think we have that plus some at Alabama. You look at the last couple teams to win the national championship outside of the SEC and how, that's been a trend in college football. You've seen the SEC dominator era for, 7 out of 10 years. And in the last 3 years, you've seen a new style of football kind of snatch it away from the SEC. And I think that's what we've seen for the past 2 or 3 years. We've seen the Big 12, the Big 10 kind of come in and snatch up our style and mix it with a new style, and it doesn't look like it's supposed to work because the SEC style is supposed to work, but now it's changing. And so we're adapting. And Kalen DeBoer brings that when he comes from, the Northwest, coaching at Washington, watching two systems, combine or collab and produce what you need to produce to be in a national championship. Washington didn't have a dominant defense neither year that Kalen DeBoer and his staff at Washington, made playoff pushes. And you got to remember, there was a 14 playoff push that first year Kalen DeBoer was there. So imagine if it was an 8-team or a 12-team like we've been able to see for the past 2 years. So going to be crazy to see how this season turns out, Jackson.
Oh, they'd have been scary. They'd have been scary for sure. Like Washington in 2022, 8-team playoff or 12-team, that would have been ugly for one or two teams.
Oh, yeah. I think they make a strong push. And then you got to think, that's a school that couldn't even utilize the portal like you thought they would have. And they maximized player development in the limited time that they got those guys that came in the portal. So that's where we got to remember as Bama fans, we have a coach that specializes in development, key player development on the offensive side of the ball as the head coach. And then you got a defensive coordinator who has head coach experience, who has a scheme that's literally being utilized. Personnel wise, it's probably the only difference you see, but 4-2-5, the vision coverage on the back end is something that's being utilized by a lot of your, I guess you could say, highly respected defensive coordinators in the collegiate level, even at the NFL level, because it translates. You're seeing it taught in high school, and now you could translate it to the collegiate level and add on, different languages, different specs or hot calls. But overall, the schematics, the overall understanding of everything is still within the same wheelhouse. And that's why you see 5-star freshmen like Dijon Lee able to come on and be an impact player. Abdul Sanders Jr. able to come in and get themselves in the rotation in the grand scheme of the whole operation. So I'm excited to see this Alabama team come together again, Jackson. We're what? 10 days in a wake up away.
11 days. 11 days now.
Well, we kind of ended today. The day's kind of over with. I think I'm about to go to bed early. So
there you go.
I don't know, man.
Tuesday night. So
it's Tuesday, man. I don't got nothing else to do, but we got some editing to get done. Jackson, let the people know where they can find you, man, as we get up out of here, brother.
Well, they can find me on Jackson Johnson 979 on my personal YouTube channel, where I've got my show, The Jacksonian, and I've got numerous collaborations with my buddies Will and D and Sports Talk with Austin. And you can check out my updates on The Jacksonian and on Alabama, the voice of college football, on Jacksonville CFB, on X/Twitter, and on Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543908. Where I also put out my calls on the Paul Feinbaum Show, where the weekends are full of surprises.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And y'all already know where you can find me at. I'm your boy, Coach Smook, founder of the Coach Smook Network, but serving here as an analyst and host over here at the Alabama, the voice of college football. Glad to be a part of this family. But you can definitely find me at Coach Smook on all platforms. That's at Coach Smook on all platforms, all your major social media sites. Go follow, subscribe, do whatever to stay in tune with all your Alabama content and coverage. We also got some fitness and lifestyle things being posted. Definitely check out the Coach Smook Network on YouTube. It's the best, probably the best content coverage you're going to get interpersonal with the team. We got recruiting over there, everything you want over there on the Coach Smook Network. But don't miss out on your informative coverage here on the Alabama at the voice of college football. This team that we putting together, man, we're not done yet. We're not done building yet, Jackson. So they better watch out. I'm telling y'all. And make sure y'all check us out live when we're live. Check us out on all the audio platforms: Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeart. Leave a rating and a review so we can know to give you a shout out, man. We be looking for all this stuff so that we can let the community know that we appreciate you all going the extra mile to support us and allowing us to be heard across the nation talking about our Alabama Crimson Tide.
It's perfect to listen to, especially with the kids back in school this week.
Tell them about it, man. You ain't got to stop and watch my, big forehead or watch Jackson making all these weird noises and stuff. You can just listen to it. You just listen to it, man. So hopefully tonight y'all enjoyed the show. Hopefully it was a lot of information there for y'all to kind of dive into and discuss. But until next time, when we are back live Thursday, you'll be live with Jackson and Jeff with the college football call-in show, talking Alabama sports, getting you some live reactions and things of that nature with our two hosts, man. Can't wait to see Jeffrey back in the house, man. We had fun. Yesterday, I was dealing with some technical difficulties, but we got that thing rolling, and it was a good show. So I'm excited to get into it.
Spoiler alert! We'll be making fun of Auburn a little bit.
Oh yeah, you got to
national titles.
Yeah, them and their national titles, and their 5-star transfer quarterback that can't complete a crosser, 2-yard crosser. But we ain't gonna talk about that tonight. We're gonna let them live tonight. But with that being said, Jackson, anything else before we let the people go?
Tell your friends, your family, and the cashiers a post about the magic that you'll be seeing all right here on Alabama with the Voice of College Football, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and Saturdays after every game, all right here.
Yes, sir. Hey, and don't forget, y'all, starting September, when we kick off our new schedule, our updated schedule, we'll be posting a video about it here soon. Y'all be on the lookout for it. And with that, remember, y'all, we love you all, and roll tide.
Roll tide, roll.
Y'all be blessed and enjoy the rest of your evening. God bless.